In today's video, I'll be showing you a quick and easy guide on how to secure passive income with just $500. The term passive income can seem a bit misleading, as though it's just a buzzword used to gain people's attention, but it is a very real thing, and securing some for yourself is a lot easier than you might think. I will be the first to say that a passive income source made from just $500 is not going to be enough to retire early and spend your life on vacation. But what it will do is motivate you and plant the seed to grow bigger sources of passive income. Once you see that first dividend payout hit your bank account, you see how real the concept of passive income can be and the massive potential for it. The more money you have invested, the greater your return will be. And just a disclaimer, this video is not financial advice, it's all my personal opinion, so please make sure to do your own research and take everything I say in this video with a grain of salt. If you find the content helpful, make sure to drop a like for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated with future content. One of the best sources of passive income is investing in the stock market, specifically investing in an ETF that tracks the overall market performance. One of the best ones that you can get are those offered by iShares and Vanguard. These are companies that have investment products that will track the overall performance of the stock market. Essentially, the stock market is represented by something called the S&P 500. This is just the top 500 biggest publicly traded companies in America. This is believed to be an accurate representation of the overall stock market performance, but you can't directly invest into this, and that's why there's companies like iShares and Vanguard that have ETF products whose sole purpose is just to mimic the performance of the S&P 500. This means they will buy into all of the same companies, and therefore they have the exact same performance when you put the stock graphs side by side. Essentially, when you buy into this, you have a little piece of the overall market, and this is very beneficial because your money is diversified and spread out amongst multiple companies. Some of the most recognizable companies in the world, like Apple, Google, Facebook, are all part of this S&P 500 index. Therefore, your money is nice and secure in some of the biggest companies in the world that have stood the test of time and have consistently grown for decades. That's all well and good, but how do you get passive income from this? This gives you passive income in two different ways. Firstly, the price of the stock increasing in value, and on average the market goes up by roughly 10% per year, but keep in mind that this is a long-term figure. Some years it might go up more or less than others, and for a period of time it might have a very minimal change, say going up by 1 or 2%, but over time, say 10, 20, 30 years, you always get a return of 10%. And that's the thing to keep in mind with passive income, is that it's a long-term game. You're not going to get a massive return overnight, but if you are consistent with putting your money into this investment, it can pay off massively in the future. On top of this, you also get a dividend of 1.3%. Dividend is just a payback to a company's investors, normally on a yearly basis, and this is just recognizing the investors as part owners in that business, and therefore the profits of that company will be shared with them in the form of a dividend. If you add up that 1.3% dividend return plus that 10% annual gain on that $500, then you will get a total return of $57. This of course isn't life-changing money, but if you do this consistently for several years at a time, then the results can stack up massively. If you were to put in $100 a week, which is just roughly $15 a day, and you do this for 40 years at that average return of 10%, then you will get a return of over $2.1 million. And as you can see, the majority of the heavy lifting will be done by the stock market, with you only having to contribute $192,000. This means you will have an overall return exceeding $1.9 million. Of course, this is a very slow process, but it is a very real possibility and easily something that you can do by yourself without any prior knowledge on the stock market, any upfront research or effort on your behalf to begin passive income results just like this. So it can be a very beneficial strategy that will set you up long term and help you secure a constant stream of money for the rest of your life. Another way that you can secure passive income is by investing in high dividend yielding stocks. These include ones like AT&T, which is sitting at about 8%, and Verizon, which is sitting just below 5%. These can be a great option, but you do need to keep in mind that just because there's a high dividend payout doesn't necessarily mean that it is a better investment for you. AT&T and Verizon have over triple the amount of dividend payout as one of the S&P 500 ETF ETFs, but you can see here that the stock prices have been quite stagnant or even declining in comparison to the very consistent growth that the S&P 500 ETFs have been having. So you do need to balance out that the share price gaining value can be more beneficial for you than just a high dividend, because that dividend payout comes from a company's profits, and if it's not very profitable or the amount of money that it has is quite low, then overall paying out this high dividend yield can be negatively affecting the company, and this is reflected in the stock price. So that dividend payout might be good because it's constant and routine money, but companies can stop paying a dividend or reduce the amount of dividend that they pay back, especially if they've been hard hit by the virus and can't actually afford to pay this much dividend back to its investors. So do keep that in mind when you're looking for companies to invest in and make passive income from, that the dividend is not the be all end all statistic that you want to look at. So how do you actually buy into one of these ETFs that track the overall stock market performance? There's a lot of very beginner friendly brokerage platforms that you can use depending on which country you're in. If you're in America, you can use Robinhood. If you're in the United Kingdom, there's Webull or Free Trade, and then if you're in Australia or New Zealand, then there's also Stake. So essentially what these platforms allow you to do is to look at various different companies, both individual stocks and ETFs, and then you can browse through them and purchase shares of them just from the convenience of your computer or your phone. They just need proof of identity, either a driver's license or passport photo, and then a proof of address, normally in the form of a utilities bill like a bank statement. That information gets verified, and then top-ups can be done either through a bank transfer or a credit card. Buying shares of one of these companies can be done within a few minutes, and you can even set up auto investment plans to make the whole process as hands-free as possible, so you don't have to spend any time worrying about it. Just allocating a portion of your paycheck to go into one of these ETF funds, and then it's just a set and forget strategy that can slowly grow over time. If you're in New Zealand, I have an affiliate link for Hatch that will give you a $20 bonus when you first sign up and deposit your first $100, and I also have a link for Stake that will give you a free stock when you first sign up and top up your account within 24 hours of making it. With Stake, you can either get a free stock for GoPro, Dropbox or Nike, and currently the Nike stock is valued at roughly $158. So if you're interested in any of those, check them out. They'll be down below in the description box. Now that you know how to make passive income from investing in the stock market, you might want to know about some very common investing mistakes. Check out this video on screen to see my top 7 investing mistakes. These are the things that I wish I knew earlier, and they would have saved me a ton of time and money. So check out that video so you don't have to make the same mistakes that I did.